and welcome to a Sunday morning edition of my show. Thought I would get up early this morning, do the 9:30 thing like I've done the last couple of weeks, kind of give you an alternative to what's going on television to people like Chuck Todd and Chris Wallace. Anyway, welcome to the show. We're having a little thunderstorm here in lovely Olathe, Kansas. A couple of things real quick. I do want to mention that a teen father, age 17, is killed. 20 others shot at a multiple gunmen opened fire in a block party in Washington, D.C. So there you go. A little more madness and mayhem. Most probably, I'm assuming, it will be a case of Black Lives Not Mattering. So that's going on elsewhere in the world. Apparently, Donald Trump got tired of fighting the Democrat Congress over the stimulus bill because the Democrats don't care about the American people. All they care about is politics. And they wanted to pork it up with a bunch of stuff that was nonsense, dealing with mail-in voting, dealing with opening the borders, creating mayhem and chaos, among other things. Already getting some emojis this morning. Hello, how you doing, guys? So the president said, screw you, I'm going to do an executive order, and we're going to get some things done here. And, of course, everybody's screaming that it's unconstitutional. He got rid of the payroll tax, okay? Republican Ben Sass said that the president does not have power to unilaterally rewrite the payroll tax law. Well, you know what? We've been bitching and complaining about the payroll tax for years, and Donald Trump finally did something about it. Honestly, think about this. And I'm going to get into this in a moment. Think about all the promises that this president has kept. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine named Sam yesterday. This is one of the first presidents that we've seen, I think, since Ronald Reagan, that did what he said he was going to do when he got in office. We sit here and our Congress mentally masturbates about issues like Social Security, fixing infrastructure, and every 4 years, nothing happens. Nothing gets done. Things are getting done with this president. Things are getting done. He rolled back NAFTA. He has expanded the military. He's gotten rid of regulations, and he's lowered taxes. I could go through a list of hundreds of his accomplishments, but I'm not going to do that right now. But he got rid of that. He took the unemployment benefit down to $400. Now, this is the federal unemployment benefit. If you have unemployment, you get a state benefit. And they had added this federal unemployment benefit to the package. And the federal benefit was $600 a week. Okay, so if you got like $500 a week or $600 a week from your state, then you'd also get another $600. Okay. Now, I have someone in my life who I know who lost her job because of the pandemic, the panic, the stupidity of COVID, and she ended up making she was making like $48,000 a year on unemployment. Okay. $48,000 a year on unemployment. Now, that is, I would say, a disincentive to work. And I would say that $400 is kind of a disincentive to work because that's $1,600 a month on top of your unemployment benefits. So if you get $500 a month from the state plus $400, you get $900, you get almost $4,000. You're still getting about $40-something thousand a year with $400 federal benefit. But the president wanted people to get back to work, and they're extending these benefits through the end of the year. And the president just quite simply got tired of Congress sitting on their arses and not doing anything about it. And so he said, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Here's the president before he signed the executive order.
My administration continues to work in good faith to reach an agreement with Democrats in Congress that will extend unemployment benefits, provide protections against evictions.
Hi, Ryan. Hi, Shelby.
A terrible thing happens with evictions. Not fair. It wasn't their fault that we were infected with this disease from
Shelby,
China.
I'm not saying you should quit your job.
And get relief to American families. Yet tragically, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer continue to insist on radical left-wing policies that have nothing to do with the China virus, nothing to do with it at all. So you have...
I love that he's still calling it the China virus.
have a virus that comes in and...
You know why? Because it came from China.
You have people in Congress that don't want to help our people. If Democrats continue to hold this critical relief hostage, I will act under my authority as president to get Americans the relief.
And he did. And he did. Here is a couple of things the president said the last couple of days. He was on fuego. He was on fuego. Here he is talking about the things that Democrats wanted in the package. And he said, screw you. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get the essentials. I'm going to get the essentials. I'm going to do the payroll tax cut. I'm going to extend unemployment benefits. I'm going to do, and I don't particularly agree with the eviction limitations because some people have a-holes living in their properties. And they should be able to evict them. But he said, you know, I'm tired of pissing around with the Democrats loading these things up with a essentially life-altering, unconstitutional crap that they want to put in the bill.
The bill that we're talking about, what does this have to do with stimulus, the economy? What does this have to do with the coronavirus? Know the name? What does this have to do with this? So think of that. They required the mass release of illegal aliens from detention. What does this have to do with what we're trying to do? They want to put this, and this is a radical left policy, so they can go to Portland and try and rip the place apart that they've been doing for many years, and they've been doing for years and years. They also compel the mass release of inmates. What does this have to do with what we're talking about? This is Nancy Pelosi, crazy Nancy, and Chuck Schumer. They want to compel you to do this stuff, and this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, and it includes serious felons. They want to have these people released on a mass basis, including serious felons.
Nothing to do with coronavirus relief.
That's page 1,689, page 1,762. Think of that. 1,762, and that's nowhere near the end of their bill. They have things in there that nobody has even had the time to look at or read.
I'm glad he's exposing this crap.
These people, I honestly don't believe they love our country. You want to know the truth. In addition to demanding these extreme partisan provisions, Democrats are actively blocking the following measures: support for K-12 schools to help them safely open, additional funding for the Paycheck Protection Program to help millions of workers on the payroll. These are a great program, very successful, kept a lot of businesses open. That's why we're doing so well in reopening our country. Additional money for hospitals, testing, and vaccines, direct payments of $3,400 for a family of 4. Now remember, this is what the extreme partisans, this is what we're talking about. Democrats are actively blocking the things that we want.
So the president said, screw you, I'm going to go ahead and do it on my own. And he got people the relief that they need. He got businesses the relief that they need. And the payroll tax is a big deal. It will be a big deal. The payroll tax will be a very large boon to business and to you as well. This is great. The president was at his, I guess, a New Jersey club. I'm not sure which one it was. And this, he had a friendly crowd for a change. And here he is, a reporter addressing the fact that some people in the room were not wearing masks. And you know, if you've been following this, of course, it's okay to go to a Black Lives Matter or an Antifa protest without a mask. The only reason why they wear masks at Antifa protests is so they won't be identified when they vandalize and hurt and maybe even kill. But that said, this is the president's response to some people not wearing masks in the audience, and it's funny.
6,000 Americans this week, and just in this room, you have dozens of people. You're not following the guidelines in New Jersey, which say...
And just in the room.
You should not have...
No, they don't have to. This is a political activity. You're wrong on that because it's a political activity. They have exceptions, political activity, and it's also a peaceful protest.
There you go.
So when you have, and as you know, they asked if they could be.
I want to watch that again. That's really funny, actually.
They have exceptions, political activity, and it's also a peaceful protest. So when you have, and as you know, they asked if they could be. You know, a number of, and to me, they look like they all have, pretty much all have masks on. But, you know, you have an exclusion in the law. It says peaceful protest or political activity, right? In fact, specifically, yeah, it says exactly political activity or peaceful protest. And you could call it political activity, but I'd call it peaceful protest because they heard you were coming up. And they know the news is fake. They understand it better than anybody.
There you go.
They asked whether...
Okay, very nice. Very nicely done. Here's the president talking about the fact that he has kept promises unlike any other president I've seen since Reagan.
But I didn't back down from my promises, and I've kept every single one. First, I promised to withdraw the United States from the last administration's disastrous assault on U.S. workers. The Trans-Pacific Partnership would have been a disaster. Would have been a disaster, especially for the automobile industry. Would have put it out of business.
And the Iran nuclear deal, yay, got rid of that.
My first week in office, I kept that promise and canceled that job-killing catastrophe. Second, I pledged to appoint the toughest and smartest trade negotiators to defend American jobs, and I did with Bob Lighthizer and all of his people. They've been fantastic. Third, I said I would use every legal tool at my disposal to fight back against unfair trade, and I did, and I found some that nobody even knew about. Some of them were very old. They had a lot of dust on them, hadn't been used for decades and decades, but I found them. Things you could never get past today. Fourth, I promised to label China a currency manipulator, and I did.
He's going after China.
Fifth, I said we would bring trade cases against China to crack down on its economic aggression. Sixth, I committed to impose tariffs on goods to protect American jobs and stop China and many other countries' abuses under Section.
China has been basically screwing us for decades. And I have said this, that China is not a creative economy. It is an industrious people because the people are enslaved. They steal intellectual property, enslave their people to build the products and sell them back to us. That's what they do.
Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962 and Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974.
Okay, all right, we got it. We got it. He's keeping his promises. Now, of course, Joe Biden has said that Donald Trump is waging a reckless war on Social Security with payroll tax holiday. Nancy Pelosi blasts the president's relief orders as weak and meager. Well, you're just describing yourself when you look in the mirror. The president also talked about the Green New Deal. He said it's for children, and it is. It's stupid. He was at his golf club news conference. Said the policies would decimate our country. And if you read the Green New Deal, it is childlike. It is written like, and I mentioned this. I said it's like an 8th grade science paper. It's really bad. In fact, that's probably 6th grade, maybe 5th. It is really, really stupid. And here is the president talking about the Green New Deal and how it's for children. I love that he's saying this.
You look at what they want to do. They want to raise everybody's taxes, everybody.
Yep.
And they want to do the Green New Deal, which will decimate our country and decimate. It's ridiculous, too. It's childish. I actually say the Green New Deal is childish. It's for children.
It is.
It's not for adults.
He's right.
Anybody that believes in that is, I don't know, maybe it's politics. I don't even think it's good politics. They seem to think so. We'll see how they do. But I don't think it's good politics.
It was written by children, and we have children right now waging these protests in places like Seattle and Portland. These are children, dangerous children who are emboldened by weakness when weakness is shown by governors or mayors. They are emboldened by it. We saw that with the police chief in New York City, who a month or two ago got down on his knees with the Black Lives Matter protesters. Then he was beaten summarily a couple weeks later by Black Lives protesters. So they are emboldened by weakness. We'll get into some of the mess in Portland and Seattle. And in Portland, a police station, they tried to set fire to a police station, block the doors, and murder all the officers inside, then run over several officers. And this is why I'm saying this needs to begin to be met with lethal force. I'm also going to share with you in a couple of minutes the only person who was brave enough, 2 people were brave enough to go and try to defend the court or the police station in Portland. They were both elderly women, one with a walker. And they were assaulted, and I'm going to share that. It's time for this childish activity to end. And if it means National Guard troops, then it needs National Guard troops. If it needs real bullets instead of rubber bullets, then so be it. Because the police are being met with real bullets. The police are being met with real projectiles, real explosives. It's time to shut this crap down. You're shutting down peaceful. I'll shut your mouth with your stupid peaceful protests. They never have been. Peaceful protests don't cause billions of dollars in damage. Okay? Peaceful protests don't result in hundreds of police officers being injured. Peaceful protests don't end up with cities being burned down and police departments being defunded. Bullcrap. I cry bullcrap on your peaceful protest, Black Lives Matter terrorist organization, and Antifa terrorist organization. Let's talk a little bit about the vice president and his racy thing this week. There was basically a blackout on news media. Pat says, I heard something last night about Biden. We don't need him as president and the power to have his fingers on the button for nuclear bombs. He might get mixed up with his medical alert button. That's true. That's true. I've fallen and I can't get up. Could end up in a nuclear holocaust. Here is the former vice president talking about how blacks aren't diverse. Now, I want you to think about this, because who would say this out loud? Even out of context, this can't really be taken out of context, okay? Because it's really, really racist.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community.
Okay, unlike the African American community, with few exceptions, the Latino American community is very diverse. Let's hear it again.
Notable exceptions. The Latino African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
Everybody knows the man is, I would say that he is a typical Democrat with regard to race issues. And he is someone who infantilizes people of color. He, like Democrats don't believe that black people can get IDs. Well, they do, actually. They just use it as an excuse. But they say black people can't get IDs. Black people can't do this. Black people can't climb the ladder and be successful in the country because of this, because of institutional racism. And then you hear people like Oprah Winfrey, who's worth $2.6 billion, saying that we live in a caste society, which is absurd. She is the anti-caste. Dear God in heaven, she grew up in poverty and now is a billionaire. So honestly, it's absurd on the face of it. But this is typical Democrat racism. And they think that they're being all compassionate and everything. They end up being more racist than you could ever imagine. More racist than you could ever imagine by doing things like, oh, we know what? Because George Floyd died, we'd better get rid of Aunt Jemima and pancake mix. We better get rid of Eskimo pies. We better get rid of Uncle Ben. Yeah, because we're woke. We're woke. You end up looking more racist because you step in and you want to be offended for someone. And I mentioned this literally like 23, 24 years ago when I was in Minneapolis. Because there was a group of suburban, mostly white women who would call my show whenever they were offended. And I would say, are you a member of the group that you say I'm offending? And she would say, no, but I know someone who is. And I called those people the Dawn Patrol. Well, the Dawn Patrol exists now. The Dawn Patrol, they call her names like Karen. But she's there and she's willing to step forward for poor black people. And do things like the AP style book. You can't capitalize the word white now, but black is capitalized. Okay, it's idiocy. Okay, it's people stepping forward for the Washington Redskins saying, Native Americans are really offended by this, and most Native Americans aren't. They just aren't. It's just white people. I know you're offended. I'm going to go step forward because I'm white. Okay, you are black. So I'm going to go step forward and approach the line here of white people, and I'm going to plead your case for you. Is that okay? Well, we're really not offended. No. Trust me, it's offensive. I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to them. No, I mean, really cool. I use Aunt Jemima pancake mix. I never thought twice about it. It's just Aunt Jemima pancake mix. It's my favorite pancake mix, and it makes great pancakes, by the way. And then Mrs. Butterworth, I'm not offended, but no. It is offensive. Trust me on this. And I'm just doing it for you. So I'm going to approach the other white people and I'm going to call it offensive and have it burned. Yeah. That's what it's all about, kids. That's what it's all about. Here is Joe Biden talking with Charlemagne for God.
Well, Thank you so much. That's really our time. I apologize.
You can't do that to black media.
I can't do that.
There's Charlemagne the God being racist. You can't do that to black media. Because he's out of time. You can't, it's black media. Okay, you got black media, whatever.
To white media and black media because my wife has to go on at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community.
Okay, and that's one thing that he said to the African American community after saying that they weren't diverse. Then they said, he basically, you ain't black if you vote for Donald Trump. So here he is. This is another white person stepping forward to be offended. And also, I might add, to call out the dogs when black people try to step off the Democrat plantation. I made this analogy years ago when Hillary Clinton said something about the plantation and Republicans. If you see what he just did there? He just pumped the shotgun standing there on the plantation and said, if you cross over the border and you vote for Donald Trump, you ain't black. Chink, chink. Now get back here. Start thinking clearly. What are you trying to do? You trying to leave the Democrat Party? Don't you know what we've given you all these years? Don't you know the glorious welfare state we've given you and the New Deal and the aid for dependent children and all of that and those government checks and everything? All that can go away because you ain't black if you vote for Donald Trump. Wow. There's a movement that's growing in the country. It's a movement. I'm drawing a blank on it right now, but people are leaving the Democrat Party, and it's not necessarily about joining the Republican Party. It's about joining the movement away from the Democrat monolithic think and racism and common sense, and realizing that the Democrat Party has done nothing for particularly the African American community, but usher in an era of the broken family, the incredible decay of society in inner cities, 40% abortion rate, and that's on the low end of the black population. Now, you look at the black population of this country, about, 11 or 12%, 13% maybe. Think about how many black babies have been aborted when you look at 40% of pregnancies minimum are being ended in the black community before the children are born. And by the way, Planned Parenthood was created by a Democrat, a eugenist, Margaret Sanger, who wanted the extermination of the black race. You didn't know that. That's why they just kind of in passing mentioned that they're distancing themselves from Margaret Sanger, but that's what she was. She was a eugenist that wanted, she was Hitlerian. She wanted people with handicaps and black people exterminated. And man, she is, standing ovation in the grave, ladies and gentlemen, for the last 40 years, because millions of black babies never realized life. There could have been other Oprah Winfrey's and Michael Jordans and the countless scientists and Supreme Court justices there could have been, and they never saw the light of day. They never made it out of the womb. And there's the real, you want to talk about discrimination. You've got, out here, I'm a person, but if you put a fleshy wall between me and a bag of water that I live in, you are not a person. Okay, so the fleshy wall, I'm a human. Fleshy wall, you're on the other side. You're not human. I can kill you. Democrats say you can kill a baby up until the time the baby is born because they are they are behind a fleshy wall in a bag of water. Yeah. Cheeto, what up, my friend? Good to see you this morning. Also, Sherry and Helena. Good to see you this morning in Washington, D.C. I hope you're enjoying the show. Here's Joe Biden talking about Barack Obama a few years ago. And this is really just giving him credit for being clean. This is fantastic.
You got the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and nice looking guy. That's a storybook, man.
That's a storybook, man. Yeah, he's actually clean and he can speak, and that's just this kind of slight racism, saying things without saying things like the N-word. Wow. Here is then, and not only is Joe Biden, and I'm going to share something I shared with you the other night. If you weren't here, I want you to check it out. But I'm going to show you Joe Biden's decline. The reason why, Joe Biden, his policies are absolutely disastrous. They're going to ruin the country. And the man is not there. But before he started to decline mentally, he was a gaffe machine. He was a doofus. Honestly, he stumbled and bumbled his way through his entire career. He's been wrong about everything, particularly with regard to foreign policy. And he's a buffoon. The last time he ran for president, he left the race because he had plagiarized a speech, and he was known for his plagiarism. So a bumbling fool, and now just a senile bumbling fool.
One man stands ready to deliver change we desperately need. A man I'm proud to call my friend. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America.
Hillary Clinton is as qualified or more qualified than I am to be vice president of the United States of America. Quite frankly, it might have been a better pick than me.
Look, John's last-minute economic plan does nothing to tackle the number one job facing the middle class. And it happens to be, as Barack says, a three-letter word, jobs. J-O-B-S, jobs. If we do everything right, we do it with absolute certainty, we stand up there and we make really tough decisions, there's still a 30%.
There he really looks like Jeff Dunham's puppet, the old guy.
Chance we're going to get it wrong.
His mom lived in Long Island for 10 years or so. God rest her soul. And although your mom's still alive as your dad passed. God bless her soul.
Okay, I mean that'll happen, because you mean a lot of people. I get that one, but he's known as being a gaffe machine. This is something I saw the other night, and this is Joe Biden in 2008 versus today, and this is very sobering. And I was talking to somebody yesterday about Joe Biden's mental decline and how keeping him in the race is elder abuse. And any other person I would have compassion for, but Joe Biden is an a-hole who molested an intern and inserted one of his digits into her against her will. That person has disappeared from the media. Joe Biden is a creep. He's been wrong about everything. So I don't really consider it elder abuse. I think because he's an a-hole. But that said, he should not be running. Watch this.
You ask anybody in there whether or not the economic and foreign policy of this administration has made them better off in the last 8 years. And in addition to that, we have to make sure that we are in a position that we are.
Jack says it takes Joe Biden an hour and a half to watch 60 Minutes. Hey, I'll be here all week.
We can insure every single solitary kid. We can provide catastrophic health insurance right off the bat. We can do that for the cost of just one thing, the tax cut for people in the top 1%.
And with I don't know.
Not funny.
You got to give them to the people who are going to spend the money. You got to deal with making sure American companies can be competitive, have a health care plan that doesn't put them at a disadvantage when they compete overseas.
There's during World War II, where Roosevelt came up with a thing that was totally different than a.
Look at the anchor on the left there. Look at how he's like straining, like, come on, Joe. Try to put together a thought. This is really bad.
Then he called it
What are you saying? What are you saying? Yeah, what are you saying? What happened to Joe Biden? Well, he had a brain surgery years and years and years ago, and he was never the same since. And and he's also in a state of mental decline. I don't know, Alzheimer's, senility, they're combined. Here is somebody put this together. This is what a debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump could look like this year.
First of all, where do you want to see the court take the country? And secondly, what's your view on how the Constitution should be interpreted?
That's like saying
hold on
before
just
you got
a moment.
in this program, if you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh?
That's the question. Please quiet, everybody.
You got more questions.
Wait, hold on, folks.
If you have a problem
because this is going to end up getting out of control.
Trump,
let's try to keep it quiet for the candidates and for the American people.
Joe's not all there. It's sad when you look at it and you see it.
I want to thank you both for participating.
My wife has to go on at 6 o'clock.
Now the decision is up to you.
Okay, there you go. That was pretty good, actually. Really, really nice. Not sure exactly who put that together, but damn, that was good. That was good. So in Portland and Seattle and cities around the country, there are these idiotic riots. They're not protests. F the word protest. They're not protests. They're riots. And people started to people started to head to the suburbs, and they tried it here in near me in Overland Park the other day. A Black Lives Matter group decided they come into a neighborhood in Overland Park where people live peacefully, and they are interracial and all of that stuff. And so the police kicked them out. And this happened in Portland. They declared Antifa Black Lives Matter march through a peaceful neighborhood as an unlawful assembly, and they busted it up. Boy, don't they look threatening with their I guess that is plywood, could be plywood. I think it's probably cardboard because they're not strong enough to hold up. But there's their shields. This is really funny. Look at the 14-year-old girl there. You know, what a badass. I just want to get a group of about 100 big badass bikers or others. Maybe just do a little roundup down at Outlaw Cigar Company and just say, hey guys, let's just go beat down an Antifa protest. Now the kid there in the hoodie and that little girl there, I would not beat them down certainly, but I would say, get your ass home, get back to your basement, go home and watch, play Minecraft or do pictures on Instagram or do a TikTok video. These are all, look at this. See the tall guy in the back there? He's probably like 17. They all walk like, these are children. This is why they need to be back in school. They can't think on their own, so they need somebody to chant for them on a megaphone. Let's move it ahead here. There's a guy riding a skateboard playing a banjo. That's pretty badass. A bunch of morons. You're an idiot. Here they are trying to burn down a police station in Portland, Oregon, with officers inside. They barricaded the doors, they took down the security cameras, and they attempted to murder the officers.
New overnight, Portland police say while the protests in downtown were largely peaceful.
No, they're not. They're all riots. There's no more peaceful protests. Bullshit.
Another protest damaged and vandalized the East Police Precinct. Elise Haas,
this guy has got the whitest delivery in America,
joins us live with the newest information this morning. Elise?
Ken, so police say that around 8 o'clock last night is when the group started gathering at Floyd Light Park, and that's at Southeast 106th Street in Southeast Portland. And by 9:15, they say that group started blocking the parking garage to the police precinct on the east side of town and shining lasers into officers' eyes. And then by 9:30, police say that some people started trying to spray paint the cameras, the surveillance cameras outside the front door of the precinct. Police say others tried to spray paint the camera and the front doors. Officers warned that group and told any peaceful protesters to leave the area. Around 9:40, people began to rip boards off of the front of the precinct and then tried damaging the windows.
This is where we need to get guns, officers, water cannons, dogs, whatever it takes.
Officers say several members...
They did that in the 60s. It was racist. Well, this isn't racist. These are actual violent rioters.
The group even tried to ram a piece of wood and throw rocks through the front glass doors. Eventually, they made it through those doors. Police say the group then barricaded...
Where are the police? Where is Portland? Why do they not come there and break this up now?
...the door and started a fire. And that is when police declared the situation a riot. Police started...
That's when they decided it was a riot.
...pushing the crowd back. A little after 10 o'clock, we saw...
By the way, they threw rocks, concrete, other things, shined lasers trying to blind the officers.
Then, as police say, the group began throwing large rocks and fireworks at them. They said at one point a truck tried to run over several officers. So we were there.
Attempted murder. They should be arrested for attempted murder.
As we saw officers use tear gas and crowd control munitions because they say there were life safety issues. While clearing the area, police found an unknown suspicious device. They secured the area and later found it not to be an explosive. So over the next couple of hours, police continued to push protesters back, and most of the people cleared the area by 1:30 in the morning.
Okay. Now, two of the only people, and if this came to my neighborhood, I would rally my neighbors. I know who in my hood who are patriotic Americans, and we would go and we would rally people to stop this from happening to a police station in our area. In Portland, two elderly women, one with a walker, went there because they wanted this protest to end. One of them was summarily doused with paint, screamed at. Here's some of the footage of these animals who need a beat down, assaulting an elderly woman trying to protect the police station.
Yeah, that's right. This isn't your world anymore. I'll tell you what. My black friends live right here. My black friends live right here. My Spanish friends are dying.
One of the only people brave enough to go get in front of this mob, and she was screamed at. You can hear that little piece of crap yelling at her, saying it's not your world anymore. Well, guess what? It's not yours either, Junior.
Our black friends are dying.
Our black friends are dying. Okay, name which one of your black friends is dying.
You know what? We died for you.
Where? You're right now.
Getting in her face. You feel like a big man, don't you? I want to rip that mask off and just punch you right in the frickin' face.
I shot my dog. I watched somebody die for my fucking dog.
Come on, tough man. See how tough you are. Make sure to videotape you assaulting an older woman. What an asshole. Punch that. Oh, I want to knock his teeth out.
Put your mask on, bitch.
Put your mask on, bitch. There you go. Nice. If you're down with this as a Democrat, if you're cool with this, you're going to get your ass handed to you in November. And I'm just going to tell you right now, even though some Democrats have kind of distanced themselves from this, although they've never condemned it, the election's already over. Okay. The seed is sown. Patriotic Americans are angry, and they're going to the polls, and Antifa and BLM are going to become relics of history. They're going down. The same thing happened in the 1960s. With the Weather Underground and other, they tried their brief communistic overtake of the country, and it failed. This will fail too. It will fail too. Here are police going after. This is in a Seattle suburb. I think this is a different story.
Tonight, police say a man was assaulted after confronting protesters in Seattle's Queen Anne neighborhood over noise.
Okay, so this guy goes out. There's these protesters coming to his neighborhood. He goes out because there was noise, and he says, hey, quiet down. We live in a peaceful neighborhood, and he was beaten.
And KIRO 7's Michael Spears is there live tonight, and police say that man went to the hospital, Michael.
Police say with a head injury, possibly a concussion. Investigators say a family member took him to the hospital and that he has since been released after being assaulted just after midnight early this morning here near 10th Avenue West and Lee Street. We found this video on Twitch that appears to show part of the confrontation.
And I grabbed it and I threw it away. But I did not touch it.
The camera then points towards the ground.
Hey, bro, what is your problem here?
I have no problem.
So why are you over here? You touched the back up, take a step back. Every time.
You know why he's over there? Because you're in his effing neighborhood, you lousy piece of crap. Go back to the hole from where you crawled.
Moments later, the video shows the man lying on the ground, with some people watching clearly upset by what had just happened.
Oh, yeah, they're very upset. They're terribly oh, how could we possibly do something violent, even though we have done it for the last 70 days?
It was the middle of the night, and it was quite loud.
Neighbors say the protest chants woke them up.
There was a loud noise and a commotion, and so my husband and I got out of bed, and I peeked out the window, and I saw a gentleman lying there.
Tracy Reiser said she did not see the man go down.
And there were the people I saw around him were not
Oh, look, somebody spray painted the stop sign.
hurting him. They were trying to help him up.
Oh, yeah, they're all very helpful.
Seattle police say that man told them he had confronted protesters and asked them to quiet down so he could sleep. Investigators say the man reported demonstrators became upset that he was recording them, flashed lasers in his eyes, hit him in the head, possibly with a flashlight, then said someone deleted the video on his phone.
Nice.
Another video posted to Periscope appears to show a different angle of the man asking why the group was marching.
It's the coronavirus.
Before he grabs a flashlight out of someone's hand as people tell him to leave. Moments later, he's on the ground.
I don't like to see people getting hurt on either side.
Oh, I like to see Antifa get hurt.
Now, at this point, police have not announced any arrests.
Michael, let me ask you a couple of questions here. Before protesters made it there, video shows the group stopping at the home of a Seattle City Council member. That was Andrew Lewis, I believe. What was that like?
Well, they went to his house. He did come out and speak to them, and they really wanted to know more about his support for defunding police. And
yeah, that's what they just came by to his house in the middle of the night because they want to have a discussion. No threatening thing there. No, just going to somebody's house, in masks with weapons and eventually beating somebody for just saying that they wanted to quiet down because they're in their neighborhood. Yeah, they're just there to talk. They're just there to talk. Here's a police sergeant in Seattle talking about how the Antifa, Black Lives Matter assholes treat their officers, particularly women.
Our officers were subject to some of the most horrific displays of hate that I've ever seen in my life.
Sergeant Maxey, by the way, Portland police officer.
In particular, I had 2 female officers on my squad, and the crowd seemed to really key in on them, along with the women that were on RRT. And they were just saying some of the most vile things to them, talking about sexually assaulting them, talking about how they were, sex objects for all the other officers, on the squad.
Who says this to another human being?
And even going as far as to say that there was one individual who said that he was going to take the baton from one of the female officers and sexually abuse her with it. It was. There
you go. Keep supporting that Democrat Party. Keep supporting that. Keep not saying that the Antifa is evil and needs to be taken down. Keep supporting that. Honestly, I would say you should be ashamed, but you don't have any shame. People in Black Lives Matter, people in the Antifa, and right now the Democrat Party, you have no shame, and it's terrible. It's a horrible thing because some people would feel shame. They would feel terrible about elderly women being attacked by Antifa members trying to protect these kids. The elderly woman trying to protect the police station. You should speak out about that. You should feel ashamed that people would do that, but you feel no shame. You have no shame. You are shameless because all you care about is the president of the United States being voted out of office. Hello, Shelby. Shelby says, a person with a mask and the weapons showed up in my neighborhood in rural Iowa, it would get ugly. Yep. Lots of examples of parenting fails right there. You are right, Shelby. You are 100% right. Bring it here. I've got 3 12-gauge shotguns and a target rifle. Bring it, bring it, bring it. Oh, and lots of shells. Lots of shells. And all my neighbors do too. All my neighbors do too. Here's a pro-police PSA talking about the Democrats and how they approach the police, wanting to defund them and destroy them. And by the way, in Minneapolis, it's being turned back. People outside of the city council are saying, nope, you can't do that.
We are coming for you and your rotten system.
SPD, take your guns, put them under your chins, and pull the trigger.
On August 3rd, the City Council will vote to defund the police. Defunding means up to 800 officers fired, longer 911 response times, and higher crime rates. The Seattle Police need your help. Go to stopdefunding.com and sign our petition to stop the defunding of the police and to protect Seattle.
We cannot and will not stop until we overthrow it. We overthrow it
before it's too late.
Yeah, and most people don't support it, by the way. Here's an article I saw the other day. I won't get into the whole thing. It was written by Nellie Bowles, whatever, San Francisco, in San Francisco for the New York Times. Abolish the police. Those who survived the chaos in Seattle aren't so sure. Well, they better be damn sure that it shouldn't be abolished. I won't get into that right now. Minneapolis Charter Commission has blocked the city council effort to abolish the police department. So I guess some degree of common sense, but the Minneapolis Charter Commission brought city council efforts to defund and disband the Minneapolis Police Department to a halt Wednesday, refusing the city's council's demand to place an initiative to abolish the MPD on the November ballot and excoriating the city council over its lack of planning. Again, these are children. These are children in the city council. These are children showing up at these rallies. Some of these children up to 40 years old. At the center of the debate is the city's charter, which serves as its constitution and requires Minneapolis to keep a police department with a minimum force based on its population. A plan written by 5 city council members would have ended that requirement and replaced the police department with a Department of Community Safety and Violence Prevention that would prioritize a holistic, public health-oriented approach. By the way, the governor of Michigan and I believe the governor of the state of Washington declared what was it? Racism, a public health crisis. So make sure to wear your mask. You wouldn't want to catch the racism. And no, you don't want to catch the racism. Oh, man. Most likely voters poll, violent protests are hallmarked by criminals. Rasmussen reports the survey July 29th through the 30th, blah, 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 1,000 likely voters. Majority of the voters, 57%, said the violent protests are comprised of mostly criminals who are taking advantage of the general waves of unrest. Only 32% believe that the mob violence is fueled by legitimate outrage over the police. Wow. Yeah, again, bank on it, Democrats. Go for it. Support it. Support the violence. Support the anti-police movement. See where that gets you in November. Oh, yeah, you've already lost the November election. You just don't know it yet. Ilhan Omar is not being endorsed by the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, liberal rag that it is. Antone Melton-Mew, they endorsed that person over Ilhan Omar in the primary because they say she failed to unite her district and she also is crooked as hell. I said that actually. Ethical distractions. Okay, they say Omar's 2018 victory launched her into the national spotlight for the first Muslim woman and first refugee elected to Congress her time has been marred by missteps, including remarks on Israel, widespread regarded anti-Semitic and outsized number of missed votes and campaign finance issues. Her husband, his firm got $1.6 million from her campaign, among other things. So she's crooked as hell, and she's going to get booted after 2 years. Yay! She's a squad member. Squad. The squad. Oh, man. Some states have seen huge recoveries, others not so much. A lot of states are doing real well and have low unemployment, like Kentucky, Utah, Idaho, North Dakota, Maine, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Montana, South Dakota, Alabama, all mostly Republican-run states. The ones that are doing terrible with unemployment, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Nevada, California, Michigan, Illinois, Hawaii, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Democrat-controlled. There you go. People have gone bat guano crazy over the wearing of masks. There was a woman in Nashville, the city council member, who wanted to charge people with attempted murder if they were not wearing a mask and somebody near them got COVID. She was informed that the city council has no right to change laws with regard to sentencing people to prison, and she was shot down, and she regretted the fact, not that she said that, but that she did not have the power to do it. Yeah. Here is this is I believe it's California. Guys hanging out, having coffee outside on a park bench or just a street bench with a friend. They're just having some coffee, and she approaches them about not wearing a mask and ends up throwing hot coffee on him, and he gives them a beat down.
Phone all the time though, right? I'm in the middle of talking to her about something personal regarding. Oh hi, bye.
You don't need to be wearing masks.
No, we don't.
How do I eat a burrito with my mask on?
I wasn't talking to you guys though. That's what I was laughing about. I was talking to him because he just had a confrontation with our buddy Kevin that serves the drinks at Pete's. Yeah. We're locals here, but we're on the other side. We're
just having a cup of coffee here, you see, and if you're so concerned about it that they don't have masks on, then I'd get away from them.
The other side of the fence. We don't believe in this stuff.
No, that's cool, but you shouldn't go around calling people.
I wasn't calling you. I was talking
I know, but just keep that all to yourself, you know?
Well,
Watch
no,
this.
not necessarily, because
here it comes.
Like,
She's going to throw coffee on him.
It's okay. It's all right. I'm a business.
She's going to throw hot coffee on him.
Owner here for 30 years. I got it.
Are you going to be okay?
And they're laughing at these idiots, okay? Before the idiots decide to get violent.
I'm on Sepulveda. We only referral, but the business.
And they're being cool. They're not saying shut your effing mouth and get out of my face or I'm going to beat you.
Is Orbit, and we work.
Which is most probably what I would have said.
We work for companies and government. Yeah, I did, but it's okay. We don't work for residents. It's the environment.
Here it comes.
It's all right.
What are you looking at me for? I didn't say shit to you. Get the fuck out
Oh no!
of my face.
Don't get hit. Oh gee! Hey, Matt.
There's the coffee.
Shit.
There's the coffee.
That was
Here's
dumb.
the beat down.
Hey.
Boom! Right in the face.
Hey, guys, stop.
Tough guy.
You don't. Hey. Hey.
Fuck off me.
Hey, stop.
Get her off me! Get your girl off me! Get her off me!
You get coffee thrown on you, you have the right to beat down whoever.
You shouldn't have thrown the drink in his face.
I don't give a fuck.
You do
You
now.
should not have
It's your
thrown the
boyfriend.
drink. That was stupid.
Oh, there she's doing the attitude. She's doing the double flip off.
You shouldn't do that with somebody
Hey, you
that
might
likes.
have COVID now.
Fortunately, her boyfriend now has blood on his shirt. His.
You better go to the doctor.
You shouldn't have thrown the drink in his face. That was pretty stupid. I don't know where you got off on doing that.
I hope that someone saw that, and I would do it 10 times over, motherfucker.
Go ahead.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
I get to go over and laugh about it.
Pardon that.
Cool.
It just really makes me mad.
I'm sure you get no fucking pussy in your whole life.
Oh, you're real angry.
I hope you don't get any P word your whole life.
What?
Yeah.
What the hell does that have to do with anything?
You're real angry.
You look angry. Look at
I'm smiling.
What you needed to do, you needed to learn to walk away.
What are you gonna do? Tell the cops you threw coffee at me?
Hello, 911. I've just been assaulted on Manhattan Beach Avenue. 2 gentlemen.
Oh, he's calling the police.
Two gentlemen?
Yeah.
One gentleman and his accomplice.
You need to.
You know, who's guilty there? They were guilty of assaulting him first, and he went after them. So, you know what? He's not guilty of a crime. If you did that to me, I'd do the same thing. This is kind of, I don't know, apropos of nothing. There are a lot of people who are stopping traffic, around the world. And I don't know if this guy's an Antifa person or whatever, but this is happening. It's got to be over in Europe somewhere. Anyway, a naked guy doing his own protest, I guess, decided to approach a car and stop traffic. And he picked the wrong car. You'll find this oddly satisfying. I'm just going to stand here and you can't move. Because I'm a peaceful protester. I want you to watch the guy getting... do you think it was a good idea to stand in front of that guy's car? Here it comes. Ready for the satisfaction? Here it comes. There it is. And he's out. Let's watch it again. You're not going anywhere. I'm a peaceful Boom. On the ground. Kind of satisfying. I like that when protesters get a beat down, when they do stupid stuff like try to stop you in traffic. Hello, Jack. I'm trying to think who else is on. And my nephew, Nick, has joined us as well. Keith, Greg, and, of course, my niece, Shelby, and James, and Keith, and Pat, and Gail, and Sherry, and all you guys. Thanks for joining, Felix. Felix, good to see you, too. Good to see you, too. This is pretty funny. This is a story out of Florida, oddly enough, and because Florida... Guy riding on a tractor trailer for some reason, nobody knows, clad only in a T-shirt and a pair of gray underwear. Florida man took a 9-mile ride on the hood of a tractor trailer. The tractor trailer was trying to get the guy to fall off, and he didn't. Shows that the man tried to punch his way through the tractor trailer's windshield, apparently trying to be like the Terminator. Here's some of the footage. And remember,
Florida
because
be like,
Florida.
What the fuck?
Wow.
Oh, shit. Oh my God.
Things are just crazy, aren't they? Dear God.
Yo. Holy shit.
The guy was, I guess the truck stopped, and then the guy was summarily arrested. I'm assuming there was some sort of a controlled substance involved. I could be wrong. Shelby says, that is satisfying, watching that guy get punched in the face. Wasn't that cool? I just love that. I love that. Here's a couple things. I thought I'd throw some stuff at you. And I want to mention, before I do that, there's a serious story, and I want to mention this because there's been a lot of debate as to whether kids should go back to school. And right now, there is no evidence that a single teacher has gotten COVID-19 from a student with regard to schools being open. It does not exist. It's bullshit. And kids like my daughter have been at home for the last 6-7 months, and they can't see their friends and they can't be with their friends. This is a story that is unbelievable. Parents of an 11-year-old who committed suicide believe social isolation contributed to his death. Landon Fuller's parents believe social isolation due to the coronavirus epidemic may have caused him to die. Landon was very energetic and outgoing. He was very smart and funny. He wanted to be everybody's friend. He wanted to help people. He loved sports. He loved his family. He loved his dog. The 11-year-old's parents were guests on a show, the Colt Bellick Show. I don't know who this is. He always wanted to know about everything. He always questioned everything, but despite showing no apparent signs of struggle, Landon Fuller rode to a nearby field and took his own life. The only answers left to his grieving parents came from entries in his journal describing thoughts of suicide. I think the big question we all have is why, and we will never know the reason why, said Mom. The only thing I was able to find in his journal that he wrote that he was going mad from staying home all the time and that he just wanted to be able to go to school and play outside with his friends. So that was the only thing I can't imagine what was going through his head at the time. If I had read that before, I wouldn't have the thought that he was planning on taking his own life, because I think we're all feeling a little crazy right now. CDC Director Robert Redfield said that we are seeing, sadly, far greater suicides than we are deaths from COVID. It's COVID madness. He had written in his journal that he was going mad from staying at home all the time and that he just wanted to be able to go to school and play outside with his friends. Still support keeping the schools closed? If you are, you're probably just a teacher union member and you are a tool of the Democrat Party. Sad. Really sad. Let's move on. I do have something I want to share with you. There's a Robin Williams documentary that's been produced, and I was angry at Robin Williams for taking his life. And I'm angry to some degree at Chris Cornell for taking his life because, Cornell, or Anthony Bourdain, we don't know all the answers, but man, suicide is such a selfish thing to do, and it leaves so much pain behind. And I saw this, and now I'm beginning to understand what was going on with Robin Williams. It looks like a fascinating documentary, and the man was a genius. A goofball, but just a genius performer. We will never see another person like him in our lifetime, I do not believe. Here's a little bit of the trailer from the new documentary.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robin Williams!
What's your brain doing when 10,000 people are laughing their heads off?
The human brain is, an extraordinary 3.5-pound gland.
Go get him, you little crazy guy.
The moment you think you understand it, it comes out with something else.
The breaking news, actor Robin Williams is dead at the age of 63.
They believe that the Bay Area resident committed suicide.
There was a lot of media speculation
On Robin Williams' mind before his death, money.
He's broke or he's depressed or he's just given up.
The last movie, it was clear to all of us on that set that something was going on with Robin.
There was something eroding within him.
I was called in to go over the coroner's report. It was the beginning of understanding what had really gone on. My husband had unknowingly been battling a deadly disease.
Lewy body dementia is a devastating illness, increases anxiety, self-doubt, causes delusions that have never been present in someone.
Nearly every region of his brain was under attack. He experienced himself disintegrating.
I remember him saying to me, I don't know what's going on, I'm not me anymore.
It really amazed me that Robin could walk or move at all. People who are incredibly brilliant can tolerate degenerative diseases better. Robin Williams was a genius.
He was always able to power through it, and he'd become this guy that you knew, remembered, and loved.
The way that he was able to battle the inner turmoils, he was a freaking...
What an epic performer.
Warrior.
It no longer feels loyal to be silent about it, but maybe more loyal to share.
He was blessed.
God, he entertained hundreds of thousands of our troops.
With what his heart was capable of. In the midst of fear, he wanted to help people be less afraid.
Wow.
Self goes away. Ego, bye-bye. The thing that matters are others. That's what life is about.
I want to see that. Just when you've been on the planet a few years, when Robin Williams became famous when I was a little kid, but when you've been in the alive long enough, and I'm not elderly by any means, but I am middle-aged. Thank you. But you see a career, I saw his entire career. And then I saw the end of his life. It's strange. It's strange. This is pretty funny. Bill and Ted, they have a new movie coming out, and this was the original. I always forget the guy who plays Ted. Anyway, they just found this the other day. Hold on a second. Bill and Ted. Yeah, there you go. So Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure came out in about 1989. Alex Winter is Ted, or Bill, and Keanu Reeves is Ted. And the movie was epic. It was fantastic. It was goofy, and it came out in 1989. And they did their audition apparently in 1986. And they have uncovered the audition tape of these two guys auditioning for Bill and Ted. And when you watch this, you realize, oh, hell yeah, they're going to get the part.
Ted, well, I agree that your t-shirts will be most triumphant. The truth is that Wild Stallions will never be a super band unless we have Van Halen on guitar.
Yes, but Bill, do you not believe we will get Van Halen on guitar until we have triumphant t-shirts?
Ted, it's pointless that... Bogus. Heinous. Non-triumphant. Let's find out. Yeah. Dudes, you guys can go back in time.
Yeah, you're gonna have a most excellent adventure through history.
Yeah. Who are you guys?
Who are you, dudes? No way. No way. Yes way, Ted.
We know how you feel. We didn't believe it when we were you, and we are sin, but we are sin right now.
Wow. Wow. That is really funny. That is funny. Yes, I understand that, by the way, I thought somebody was talking about me when they were talking about Joe Biden, oddly enough. And so let's end the debate. I thought somebody had commented. The clips you showed of Biden had him hand gesturing with an earpiece. I get it. It's okay. It's okay. No problem. No problem. This is, I've got three more pieces of video I want to share before I go. Okay. And one of them is this a very funny cooking video. This is, I believe, a woman speaking Spanish, and I want you to wait for it, because a lot of people they have to share, like me. I've got about 100 cooking videos on the web. Here she is doing a cooking video when something really funny happened.
Hacer un rico pan con queso, esto es muy bueno para un desayunito así rápido. Ahorita les digo cómo hice la masa. Tiene que
It's
tener
masa, that's corn masa. Making a tortilla.
Ustedes ponen el pancito acá y
here she goes. Get the rolling pin. Here it comes. This is really funny.
Que hacer presión, ¿ya?
There we go. Boom! Right. Let's watch that again. ¿Ya? Right in the face.
Salió mal el pancito. Perdón, corte.
Turn off the Oh, there's just slapstick. Slapstick is really funny. Oh, really funny, really funny. All right. Peter Moon says, educated people in the world, and sadly, this is the best we can do as far as Joe Biden. A job begins to concern rational thoughts and delusions. He sadly, from what I observe, is not capable, so we possibly go from poison to a medical situation. Yeah, he shouldn't be running. Oh, look at all the emojis I'm getting on the the cooking video. I want to do, this is a Trump rally in Beverly Hills of all places. They want to get rid of the governor because he's a fool. And he keeps the state shut down and suffering. Here is a pro-Trump rally. A couple of BLM Antifa protesters showed up. They were summarily shouted down.
Pastor Rob, and you can report yourself to the state.
Oh, that's the national anthem. Everybody kneel.
Petition, aren't able to print that out. Just have them go to Ralph's in Thousand Oaks every Wednesday. She will be there, like I said.
By the way, at least 3 pro-Trump, pro-law enforcement demonstrations were held in the United States on Saturday. 400 demonstrators marched from West Hollywood to Beverly Hills. Hashtag Walkaway Foundation. That's the organization of people leaving the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party is evil. It It is a party of evil. It does no good at all. It has done nothing for the country. It tries to prolong the virus. It attempts to prolong the suffering of the American people economically, and it literally prays that more people die from the coronavirus so that Donald Trump will not be elected. Everything that is going on in the country right now, from the coronavirus to the Antifa violent protests, is all because it is 2020. That's it. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. It's just 2020. That's it. By the way, this is a peaceful protest. Not mostly. It is a peaceful protest.
Holly Balls, Jennifer Lawrence, and the Recall Gavin 2020 team. Let's give it up again for... Recall Gavin.
Recall Gavin.
That sound beautiful. That's what we wrote right there. We want to...
No new normal. No new normal. They're trying to normalize.
Look at all the things that they're doing that are just awful, like the saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm not seeing any frozen urine bottles or pieces of concrete or explosive devices being hurled at the police. Is that one over there? No.
Nations and baptisms in the street. I'm declaring this day. Wow. In the name of Jesus, I'm sick of the devil. I'm sick of Satan.
Oh, there they are talking about God and Jesus and everything. Oh, my God. Thank you, UK Daily Mail. Love the UK Daily Mail. Okay. All right, I'm going to wrap things up this morning on this Sunday. I do hope that you enjoyed the show and kind of give you a little alternative to what's going on Sunday morning television. This is my politically incorrect apparel lineup here. Hashtag done with pro sports, several of them, the NFL, NBA, and baseball. There's the not going to wear a face mask, not going to be a sheeple. There's that. I'll start listening when you stop burning. Okay, that is the Blue Lives Matter shirt, and you can order those all on that website. If you would, it'd be great, because I'm trying to make a little money on the side. It would be great. I do have to go work right now. My show is on Newsmax TV today at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 2 on Newsmax TV. It is called Rob Carson's What in the World, which is what this show is called, but it's a shorter version. It's a half-hour show, and it's rapid fire, and it's all comedy, and it's awesome. And it's catching on. So if you would tell people to watch, it is very important. It's odd because, and I'll just mention something. I was in radio since 1989 and started on the air in 1984 when I was a kid. And I stuck with radio even though it was very abusive to me for a very long time. And then finally, radio left me about 4 years ago. I didn't leave radio. Radio left me. And I've been blacklisted by several people, at least one named Bill, and have not been able to get back on the air because of people like Bill. And so consequently, my dreams of being back on the radio, I don't know if they are over completely unless I get a syndicated show. And there is talk of a syndicated show, by the way. But for me, ever working at a single radio station, again, under a single bad manager, Donna, there, anyway, I'm not going to go there. But under a single bad manager at a single radio station that is failing, we'll never do that again. We'll never do that again because there are too many other alternatives. People like Dan Bongino, Caden Cowger, Dylan Parentis, they all opened my eyes, and Jeremy Hansen, to the glorious digital media that are out there, including this one, and they taught me a lot, and I'm doing some things that I never thought possible. When I was a kid, I always dreamed of being Johnny Carson. When I got into college, I started using his name. Or out of college, I started using his name. And now, well into my career, I am suddenly a TV show host as a comedian. A TV host as a comedian. Carson. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So if I could give some advice, and thanks for the emojis. I love you guys too. Don't ever give up. I was watching the other day. Did you realize that Regis Philbin did not get syndicated until he was like 58 years old? Regis Philbin was a TV personality, local guy, and he got a syndicated show and became a really big deal at 58 years old. So it is never too late to reinvent yourself. And it's certainly not too late for me. So I hope this will continue to grow. Chris Ruddy at Newsmax has done some amazing things. Watch the show today, will you? And don't ever give up. I met a woman the other day at the car dealership that I work, Hendrick Toyota in Merriam, Kansas, where I hope to not work much longer. And she came in and her husband just lost his job. They lost everything and they moved back to the Midwest from California. And you should dress up for it. Felix, this is Sunday morning. I'm just wearing a t-shirt. And I'm getting a new suit for the TV show. But she came in and she was really, really hurting. And Dan Mangino was very instrumental. I talked to him like right after I got fired, and he showed me how to do the podcast. So it's awesome. Anyway, but she came in and she was very upset. I said, don't give up. She said her husband's 58 years old. I said, he can't dwell on it. He can't give up. You cannot stop looking for hope. You cannot stop looking forward. And just in the last year, I've experienced this because I was as down as I could be. And I mean, if you talk to some people who know me, you know what I'm talking about. Randy, you know, as low as you can possibly go. And then I got some hope. And then I said, no, I'm fighting back. And then I pitched a TV show to a guy named Chris Ruddy, who I didn't know. He's a head of a Newsmax network I'd been hearing about. And he wrote me back on LinkedIn and said, send me your stuff. And then he said, we're going to give you a show. And I went, yes. So watch it today, will you? I'm going to depart with one last video clip. This is an elderly woman in Beirut. And I hope that some of our attention can be shifted to helping the people of Beirut, because the explosion they experienced there was 1/5 the size of the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. Hundreds of people are dead. Thousands are missing. Thousands are injured. And I hope that we will come together for them. This was I think a poignant piece of a woman literally a day or so after the explosion that rocked a good share of the city, sitting in her flat above the destruction, playing the piano. And with that, I'm going to say, see ya. All right, guys, have a glorious day. Thank you all for watching. Please share on social media. I will be posting this on my YouTube channel, YouTube Rob Carson Show. That's beginning to pop, and hopefully I will have tens of thousands of viewers soon, and then I can just do this full-time, do a show for you every day. In the meantime, I will just say, God bless. Thank you for watching, and whatever you do in the next few days, don't catch the stupid. See ya.